Hey guys, Mr. Turner here. Today we're going to be talking about surface area, and we'll get into it in just a minute. But let's think about what we've learned so far. We've learned about volume. So what's the difference between volume and surface area? There is definitely a difference, and especially how we calculate it. So volume is how much it is to fill up the shape. So if I was in that, we poured water in that big old three-dimensional shape, it would be how much it took to fill up the whole thing, okay? So that's different. So volume, that's what we've been calculating so far, how much it is to be inside the whole shape. Okay? Surface area is a little bit different. This is about the different sides, the outsides. The definition, the area of each face on three-dimensional objects added together. Let's keep it simple. If we were going to wrap a package like a gift, it would be how much paper we needed to cover the whole box. So we got to look at the whole thing there. So if we were to wrap a present, we're looking at this side, that side, all the sides. And remember, there's 6 sides to a rectangular prism. We've got the sides and the top and bottom. That's the 5 and 6, the top and bottom, right? And usually we'll use that as our base, the top and bottom. And we'll show you that a little bit more also. So again, don't forget that. So volume, inside, surface area, all the outside. The formula for surface area is 2 times big B, which is the area of the base, plus perimeter times height. Or you'll see surface area equals 2B plus PH. Now we're going to go over that. Let's look at that. SA is surface area. That's what that means. Okay? The big B, which we already know, is the area of the base. It's not just the base. It's the area of the base. And H is the height. Okay? Now, there's one piece we don't know that we got to take a look at. And that's the P. So the P is perimeter. And when we talk about it, it's the perimeter of the base. Okay, so we have to remember that. It's perimeter of the base. So say we have Fido here and we're going to give him a fence. We need to keep him in the yard because he keeps getting out. When we talk about perimeter, it's how far it is around the whole fence. So if we were going to buy fencing, we need to know how long it is. So so say here's our fence. And we know one length is 3 and the height is 2, or the length and width. But in perimeter, you have 2 other ones, don't you? You have that side and you have that side also to do. So we have 3 and 3. We have 2 lengths of 3 and 2 lengths of 2. And to find perimeter, we have to add them all together. So 3 plus 3 plus 2 plus 2, that would be 10. So the perimeter of that box would be 10. So keep that in mind. When we're talking about surface area, it's 2 times the area of the base plus the perimeter times height. So let's try a couple of problems here real quick and see how we do. So when we look at this problem, we look at our equation once again. Make sure I got my drawing ready to go. We look at our equation and we have surface area here is 2B plus PH. Okay, so let's start with first things first. Let's write the 2. We know that's not going to change. Now we need to find the B. Big B, area of the base. So big B is area of the base. Now let's figure out which one's the base. So when you look at this, you'll see these lines are longer and these lines are shorter, right? So there's only 2 of them. Let's see if I can color that in. There's this one right here, right? And then there's this one right here. These 2 are the only ones that are the same. The others are longer. So this would be our area of the base. This is what we got to find out. So we're dealing with the 8 and the 9 here. So how do we find area of the base? We take length times width, right? So 9 times 8 is 72. So this is going to be 2 times 72. I realize I'm going to need a calculator probably. Oh, we'll see what happens. And then plus, go on to our next thing is the P. And we learned that P is perimeter. And that's how far it is around. Okay? So perimeter, we look at our base again. We're still dealing with the base. We only deal with this number 1 time at the end. But let's look at our base. We have 9 and 8. And if you remember, we have to fence the dog in, get Fido in there. So if that's 9, then I know this side's 9. And if this is 8, then I know that's 8. So I have an 8, a 9, an 8, and a 9. So 9 plus 9 is 18, plus 8 is 26, plus 8 is
34. Okay, so now I have the perimeter is 34 times what's left is our height, right? So we just have height left, right? So this will be our height. Now this box is on its end. Usually you would see it standing straight up and you'd say, oh, that's the height. But we know this is the height because it's the part that's not included in the base. Okay, so we'll put 16 here. Now, I'm going to need a calculator. I didn't anticipate that. So 2 times 72 is 144. So we'll put that in there. Plus 34 times 16 is 544. And we add that all together, and we should get 688. That would be millimeters squared. Okay? But, so 688. So again, we just take it one step at a time. We started from left to right. We did the 2, because that's easy. We did the big B here. We did the perimeter here. We calculated that, and then we put in the height. And we got it. Okay? So let's move on to one more and take a look and see what we have here. Okay, this next one, it's the same deal. Now, sometimes we can take rectangular prisms and triangular prisms and we can smash them flat. And we call that a net. When they're shown like this, let me get a pen. These are known as a net. Okay? And it's still no problem. We can still deal with this. Let's go through our equation again. Let's write our 2, as we always do. And now we need to find our big B, which again, our area of the base. So when I look at this, I can see there's 2 of them. Oops, come on. There's this one, and there's this one. Those are going to be my bases, okay? Because those are the 2 the same. Again, this has 4. That's our height. So we're not going to deal with that just yet. So when we look at that, that's going to be our bases. That's what we're dealing with. So we say, well, how the heck do I figure out what do I do with this? So let me get that out of there so we can look at it, since we know that's what we're dealing with. Let's look at, one thing we know is, since this is 2 meters, we know that this is 2 meters also, don't we? So when we're finding our area of our base, we need to take length times width, right? So it's kind of weird. 6 millimeters is right here. But this right here is also, is also going to be 6 millimeters. Because if I folded that over into a box, you could see that this 6 went right here. Okay? I know that's kind of confusing, and you're going to have to look at it a few times. But let's just keep it simple here. Since we know our dimensions here are 2, 2, 6, and 6, for my area of my base, I can just take 6 millimeters times the 2 millimeters. So 6 times 2 is 12. And that's my area of the base. Okay? Which is good. So there, we have our big B. Let's keep going. Let's go into our equation. Now we got to go to our perimeter thing. Now this is kind of easy for the perimeter. Again, if I know I have 2, 6, 2, and 6, and then what I could do is I could just add up this whole line right here, couldn't I? Because that's going to be my whole perimeter. So I have 6 plus 2 is 8, plus 6 is 14, plus 2 is 16. So my P is 16. Now, height. It's the one thing that's left, okay? It's the one thing we haven't used yet, and that's over here. That's going to be our height. That's part of this 4 thing we have here, right? So this is going to be our height. So we're going to put that right in there, okay? So 2 times 12 I know is 24. 8 times 6 is 48. 8, 9, 3 is 138. Okay, so when I multiply this together, 2 times 12, 16, plus 16 times 8. So 24 plus 38 is 162, I believe. 8 and 4 is 12. 3, 4, 5, 6, 162. And again, it's meters squared. Okay, that's it. So again, take your time on these. Just do each step at a time. Just remember the big B is the area of the base, and the P is the perimeter, and H is the height. Okay, biggest thing is finding what's what. We will keep practicing that. We're going to move on to triangles, so make sure you have rectangles down really good first before we do that. Take care and stay safe.